1, 2. Good afternoon all. We're ready to resume. Thank you.
Afternoon, Chair.
Good afternoon, Ms. Hassan.
Commissioners, the next witness is Lieutenant Colonel Ntate Paul Khumalo, and he is ready to take the oath.
Just repeat, will he
He will
swear
take
or
the
affirm?
oath.
Oh, okay. Good afternoon. Please state your full names for the record. Do you swear that the evidence you are going to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God." Thank you.
Thank you. Lieutenant Colonel Khumalo, can you just ensure that your mic is on when you're speaking? And perhaps turn on both mics so that the audio can pick you up clearly. Thank you. In fact, while I'm here, as I say, Lieutenant Colonel Khumalo, perhaps I should just get this out of the way. Are you related to Lieutenant General Khumalo?
Thank you, Commissioners. Maybe I should say it in Setswana so that the whole South Africa should know that I'm Khumalo, but not Khumalo from Zululand, but Khumalo from Northwest, Potchefstroom.
Then you are probably related to this Khumalo, who is from the Northwest.
Anyway, related to Lieutenant General Khumalo. Not at all. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks.
Thank you, Kenneth.
All right. Can you begin by describing your role and the office you occupy in the SAPS?
Thank you, Commissioners. Previously, I joined the SAPS in 2004, trained at Oudtshoorn Academy. Thereafter, I was attached at Gales River Police Station under the visible policing. A year later, I joined, in 2005, I joined a specialized unit called the National Intervention Unit in Cape Town offices. I then, 2011, got promoted to a warrant officer post at the Office of National Commissioner in Head Office. Subsequent to that, I then got promoted in 2017 to a captain post at Human Resource Development under the Office of EDTP, Education Training Development Practitioner. I then got transferred to ORS in 2019, and I was the coordinator and planning officer under NOC, which is the National Operation Coordination Office under ORS. 2022, I then got promoted to a lieutenant colonel rank at Ilembe district, a district that is based or that is at KwaZulu-Natal, as the operational commander of the DOCC, which stands for District Operational Command Center. Subsequent to that, in the midst of all my promotion, in 2018, I was then deployed at the PKTT as one of the tactical commanders of combat. And as I was deployed with the team, in 2022, I was then appointed as one of the TACJOC commanders. And subsequent to that, I was then as the other commanders of MAJOC, which is our mission area center, got promoted, left the PKTT. I was then appointed as the MAJOC commander. And in 2025, I PKTT and I moved to head office. Thank you.
Thank you. So were with the PKTT until this year, is that right?
That is true, commissioners.
So you're intimately familiar with the work of the PKTT. And you've held, if I can put it this way, leadership positions within the PKTT as the TACJOC commander and then the MAJOC commander.
Yes, from the onset, I was at a leadership position as I led the tactical team, which is our combat team. Thereafter, I got obviously moved to other positions, as I alluded earlier on.
Thank you. Lieutenant Colonel, you start the main section of your statement by describing the nature of the dockets that the PKTT, from paragraph 3 to 7, you describe that. And there are several reasons. Can you please take the Commission to why you feel it necessary to explain this? And what is different about the dockets that are handled by the PKTT?
Okay. Perhaps I should first start by explaining the approach that was or that is applied by the PKTT. The moment we all came together, the approach was firmly explained and emphasized on us that there's a 5-pillar approach, of which I was familiar with it because prior me joining the PKTT, I was deployed at Hluhluwe, whereby the same approach was applied on the rhino poaching project, which was one of the successful projects, if one can say that it yielded good and excellent results. Arriving at PKTT, it was a continuous investigation that one can say in terms of the methodology, one understood very well. Therefore, the pillar approach consists of 5 pillars, which is pillar 1, that was for intelligence gathering and analysis. Pillar 2, which was your proactive approach, mainly to prevent crime from happening. Pillar 3, it was combat approach. That's where you find your tactical teams continuously having your density operation, visible policing, and so forth. And then pillar 4, which is reaction, that's where mostly you get, obviously the crime already has been committed. Therefore, all the other disciplines come together and try and investigate what actually happened. And then the last pillar, which is pillar 5, was the communication and liaison. The team was then allocated these dockets, and maybe one should say that moving forward, I will fast forward to 2024, financial cycle of 2023 to 2024, a financial authority was approved, whereby a call-up instruction made preference of 102 members, but only 98 arrived, and from there the team continued to work well because all the disciplines were capacitated. And fast forwarding, then when you look at the team, you try, because the project is mainly investigation driven with analysis. And each tag jog then will be allocated a number of disciplines. Normally a tag jog will consist of 4 detectives and supported by other. At maximum, it will be 6, but most of the time, 4 members. And then based on...
Pause you there, just for clarity. Are you saying then every docket would have 4 to 6 members of the PKTT working on it?
No. Each tag jog has 4 detective members. These 4 detective members will be divided into 2 teams. It will be 2 teams of detectives, 2 members of combat, and the other team. Therefore, a tag jog will have 2 teams consisting of 4 detectives. And then it will then have all the other discipline in terms of LCRC, ballistic, call data analyst, operational analyst, and so forth, in order to support the detectives. And your obviously crime intelligence and information members from either national intervention or your POP, because they've got such capacity. Fast forwarding, the team was then allocated with different cases, of which we categorized them in 4 categories. One, it was, we call them main cases, which were politically related. And second batch, we call them parallel cases. Parallel cases is cases that were linking in any sort of linkage to the main case. Therefore, that docket will come to us on our request. Then we'll have ad hoc dockets. Those were the self-generated cases by the team, whereby whenever the information guys receive information about illegal firearms, or members are driving off the combat and they come across something, they will then search and obviously recover firearm in that case, because firearms are found by us. We've got the capacity of the detectives, then we will take over that particular ad hoc case. One should also stress that because majority of the political related cases, a tool that is commonly used is a firearm. And we did recover a lot of firearms that are linked to the cases, but there is still some of them that are still outstanding. Therefore, doing this ad hoc operation, intelligence-driven operation, it's part and parcel of policing. Therefore, it was relevant for us to seek for such firearms. And then last batch of cases, then it was traditional leaders cases, which were allocated to us last year, April, on an instruction of High authorities.
So that was when your mandate was extended as of April 2024 to include traditional leader killings.
Indeed,
Now,
Commissioners.
the question I asked, and it was with reference to your statement, paragraph 4 to 7, is what about these matters do you say made it complex?
Okay.
What are the reasons you say so?
There is 5 points that I would like to deduct from my statement, Commissioners. If we look at paragraph 4, I would like to single out a sentence where I say these particular cases, a true orchestrator of these assassinations remain concealed. I'm saying that based on the fact that there is huge money involved or invested for the perpetrators not to be located or arrested. By who? By the hit orders. Therefore, suspect will, or hitman coordinator, whoever you call him, as per our organogram, will try by all means to evade the arrest. They will go and even live a normal life of hiding for years. And one will make example as I continue with my testimony. Secondly, the hit orderers, they go as far as paying the hitmen in order for them not to implicate them. There's instances whereby we are able to detect that the hitmen can't afford a certain attorney, and you will find that the hit orderer then pay the legal fees of the suspect if the accused is being arrested, and taking care of the family, so long as he is still under custody. The worst one is when these hit orderers start to threaten the witnesses. And most of the time you find the witnesses recanting from the original statement that they submitted. Or you go and you get bystanders and they will tell you straight, I didn't see anything, because they fear for their life. The second point that I wanted to point is at some instances you will find that the motive of killing of these victims is frequently intersect with other criminal offenses. Commissioners, in this point, I'm actually highlighting the motive after we investigate, because first thing first that we try to do is to determine what is the motive. Why is victim killed? Because that is going to answer and give you clues going forward with your investigation. One then saw that at some instances you find someone is a politician, but at the same time is a taxi owner. Therefore, as investigation unveil, you'll find that the motive is not politically related, but taxi-related violence. But now one asks, why then are you investigating this case? There's a criteria that was approved on which cases, if we say this is a politically related cases, you investigate. One, if a member is a card-carrying member of, official card-carrying member of a political party, a former card-carrying member of a political party, a municipality official bearer, all those people, they fall under the category of saying these are politicians, these are people that the PKTT should investigate. They are talking to the political related. It bears no reason for the team not to investigate. The bottom line is that the victim is a political affiliated member. That's one. Two, one of the investigation that Ndunas and Iso Lenkosi will get involved criminal activities. There's criminal activities that you find that there is livestock stolen or forcefully taken from their lawful owners. Daylight, you find people coming and opening the kraal and take your livestock. And that is called in the northern KZN, called iskepe. That's how they term it. Why they came with that, it's only them that knows, but they take your livestock daylight. And the other reason you find that there's issues of land dispute, and you find that the Nduna is selling land, but then through someone, and that particular person, before he sell the land to individuals, he will put his interest, and then A goes to Nduna and say, but then you said this land is so much, and your 2IC sold it to me for so much. And that then starts to create conflict and results in death. The third point, one should stress, commissioners, that the dockets that have been allocated to PKTT is dockets that have already, especially the political related ones, already been open and registered from the police station, respective police station. PKTT was covering the whole of KwaZulu-Natal policing or province. And one then asked, how do you get this particular docket to PKTT? There was a process that was tabled and agreed upon. Immediately when the docket is open and an office barrier of a municipality, they will then transfer the docket to the district commissioner. The district commissioner will transfer this particular docket to the provincial head, and then the provincial head, the docket is transferred to the deputy provincial commissioner crime detection, who then will liaise with the PKTT. At the PKTT, we had one person that we nominated as the Nadal Point branch, the tactical commander for detective, which is our branch commander, who will be the one that goes and collect the dockets, sign for them, come with them, sit down with the docket, and then we start analyzing the docket. But these dockets, I must say that sometimes you'll find the oldest docket of 2016. Therefore, if you get a docket of 2016 in 2019, sometimes 2020, there's quite a lot of information or evidence that has already been tampered with. There's quite a lot of hands that dealt with that docket. Therefore, to sit down with us and we start unpacking the docket, it's very difficult. I should maybe also mention that that's where you'll find that when you go back and try and interview the witnesses and see if whatever they said 2-3 years back, they will be consistent with that. And witness will tell you that I've lost interest. I don't want to continue with that. And that makes our job difficult. But despite that, we continue persuading, because our aim is to solve the matters. And then the fourth point, commissioners.
Now in paragraph 6.
I think, yes, I've covered that. And then I will move to point number 5, which is the last point, whereby I want to emphasize that the significant risk associated with this investigation. One should mention that the hitmen used in these killings sometimes are sourced out from taxi industries, from security companies, and so forth. Because I recall at some point, General Khumalo made an example of a certain firearm that was sliced, and the firearm belonged to a certain municipality, and municipalities, because they had securities that was guarding the premises and so forth. Therefore, there's firearms that we took and others linked and so forth from security companies. And secondly, you find that the hit orderers, it's people massacred for them to buy anyone in order for them not to come forth and give evidence against them. Hitmen, sometimes they take fall on behalf of the hit orderers in order to protect. And lastly, the chain of this organogram is long. For instance, you will get hit orderer. Sometimes it's not one hit orderers, they are together, 2 or 3, because they've got one common objective. You get a coordinator. Coordinator can be divided into 2. Coordinator that knows the hitman, coordinator that will deal with resources, because sometimes hitmen, they don't come with resources. They tell you that for me to execute this job, you need to give me firearms. You need to get me vehicles. And others will say, I come with my firearms, but whatever that you charge me will be double. It's a profession to them. Get the movement of the victim in accordance to time and so forth. Then you will get your driver, person that is only hired to drive. Make sure that after the shooting, you just drive. Then you get your hitman. Therefore, that's how we crafted our organogram as we continue with investigating these cases, that this is how and the patterns of these killings happening. I think
And finally, you say in paragraph 6, the final reason you talk about the complicated nature of these cases and these dockets is the threat to the investigating officers. Do you want to say something about that?
Yes, commissioners, sometimes you find that the same people which wanted or ensured that the victim is no more or is being assassinated, If they see that the team is closing to them, they will then try and come for the investigator. If not, the docket, because they know that if we mess up with the docket, there won't be clear evidence to link us. If we capture or we ensure that we take the investigator, then we are certain that we are safe. Therefore, that's when then we then decided that combat needs to be with the team, and that is going to assist in protecting the investigators, including the docket, that you safeguard this docket, you safeguard the investigators. Nothing happens to these two item and a human being.
The docket and the investigator.
An investigator.
And you've had experience of the team being ambushed in the past?
Indeed. Perhaps people might even think that why using National Intervention Unit, because they are highly trained? Why using Tactical Response Team, because they are highly trained? They could go out there and fight the crime. Whatever that they are doing in PKTT, they are fighting the crime. In the past 7 years that I've been with the PKTT, we have experienced 3 attacks. But in those 3 attacks, I thank God even today that there were no casualties. The first one happened in 2019 when our team was traveling from southern side of the KZN, where they were investigating a politically related cases, and they came under fire at night. They were able to survive that, even though 2 of them, they were shot, but at the lower part of their bodies. The second one and the third, they happened actually in the same month. This was in 2022, December. The first one happened in Phoenix. The team was busy with their observation, and shockingly so, the victim in this followed the team up until the team reached a garage. And when they were at the garage, the victim started opening fire on our members. It was 4 members of the PKTT. And luckily, they managed to neutralize the victim, which is normal. The third incident, on that one as well, 2 of our members, 3 members were shot, but luckily no fatalities. On the third one, which is the bizarre one, the team was busy with investigation at Msinga, and as they left the police station, going up the mountains of Msinga, a vehicle started following them, and they could see that this vehicle is following them. And they accelerated, but the vehicle continued to accelerate up until they arrived at a certain point, and the passenger drew a firearm, a pistol, and started shooting at the members. Members were able to return fire, and 2 of them were shot, but then not fatally. One inference that could be drawn, and it's a proven fact, is that on all 3 attacks, commissioners, a hand of a police officer was detected. The matter of 2019, there was an R5 that was used. R5 is carried or allocated to police SAPS. And then on the other 2, definitely the member that shot our PKT members at Phoenix, he was a member of SAPS. On the one of Msinga, which I said bizarre, the driver of the suspect vehicle was a police officer. The passenger was a member of the public. And that's the member of the public that actually drew a firearm and shot at our members. And then when we conducted the investigation, the firearm he shot us with, it's a police firearm. That means a police officer handed the firearm to a member of the public. Say, shoot them. So out of all this, because of combat being part and parcel of the team, we were able to win that particular attacks. So far, we know that police are being attacked and police are dying. Maybe one should make an example of detectives that were traveling with a suspect in Gauteng, and I think it's 2-3 months back. And then the particular suspect from court, how he managed to get the fireman, shoot and kill the 2 police officers, we don't know. But then for us to have a combat, we try by all means to avoid such. Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, so very high risk involved in the dockets that the PKTT investigates, is what you're saying.
Very high, and the attacks come in different ways. And there's quite high profile firearms that are being used. The teams are traveling far, wherever they are based. Sometimes they travel about 500 kilometers to a particular crime scene and back. Therefore, you can imagine all type of terrains they are coming, driving through, and the exhaustions and all that. And that's where your enemy actually will strike. But then with combat, and we made it a clear point that combat, you don't drive, so that you can always be alert on the road.
Okay, thank you. All right, so and
Can I just ask, Colonel, this which you are describing, the risk that confronts the PKTT
Yes, Commissioner.
investigators, is it something that is unique to the PKTT because of the way in which you work and the kind of cases that you handle? That's the one possibility. And the other is that even those detectives who do, in KZN, who do murder and robbery, which is not political killings, for example, may well face the same risk on a daily basis.
To it. I've given you resources. I've given you a vehicle. I'm protecting you. I've gave you tasking. I want the feedback. Therefore, turnaround time was of importance to us because we knew that PKT is not a permanent structure. Therefore, we need to work with speed in each and every docket we're dealing with. We have limited detectives with plus 300 politically related cases. Therefore, at some point, we were giving ourselves 2-3 weeks, if not a month, to finalize a case so that it can move from under investigation to court going. And I must say, at a later stage, I will give example of such, that particular instruction was attained as cases were investigated. There's a case that was investigated within 7 days. And that the following Monday, it was at court. That shows the dedication and the instrumental part of having all the disciplines sitting together. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. So if we can go to paragraph 11, and particularly the last sentence of paragraph 11, you talk about the prosecutor-guided investigations, or these sessions, these PGI sessions that you'd hold. And you refer to verbal instructions. Can you just explain for the Commission how that works, how it would be that there would be verbal instructions on a docket from the prosecutors? So it's your last sentence in paragraph 11. The last 2 sentences, pardon me.
Paragraph 11. Okay, no, thank you, Commissioners. As our approach also involved other departments and its prosecution analysis-led investigation. Time and again, because I recall very well that at some point we will have a month, almost every month we will have a PGI. PGI is prosecutional guided investigation, whereby team will sit together with the prosecutors that are dedicated, because we were given serious and violence crime prosecutors that were dealing with us. And during our sessions, they will guide and give advice on how to go with the investigation. And some of the tasking will obviously be put on the slide, our tasking slide, and others, the prosecutors will tell us, or sometimes you find that the teams, after we have met and given the report on a new case that it was allocated to the PKTT, when the investigation is almost complete, we will go and brief the prosecutors. And the prosecutors will look and give guidance there and there. After that, the prosecutor and the tag job commanders will then time and again interact. And that's where sometimes you find that the prosecutors will give verbal instruction to the team that go and obtain this statement. And when you have obtained it, let me know. If possible, give me a summary. Of the statement. Sometimes prosecutors will make comments on the docket, or after we have had our PGI, they will request for those particular dockets that we brief them on, so that the leader of the team that is dedicated to us will go and read the docket so that he can be able to then allocate them to the prosecutors that are relevant to the cases.
And you say these sessions with the prosecutors, or I suppose even what you were describing before, where the team sits to analyze a docket.
Yes.
That would not be written into the investigation diary, the C-clip or the SAP5.
Maybe one should, commissioners, put this out, that a docket is divided in sections. You've got a cover docket, you've got the A clip, the B clip, and the C clip. Where the senior counsel is referring to as SAP5, it's attached on the C clip. That's where you write the activities of what is happening on the docket. That, it's merely an investigator's space. The investigator, branch commander, and sometimes a commander, they are the ones who are writing there, and the prosecutor. Because the moment the docket goes to the prosecutor, he needs to endorse if he wants to, if he will give instruction, or he will write the email to the team. The moment the docket goes to court, after court, the prosecutor, if he's having some queries, he will write those queries, it comes back, or he's there at court with the investigator, he will give those directives. there's no way that a call data analyst, for instance, can take that and write on the SAP5. There's no way that an LCRC member can take that docket and write on the SAP5.
What's LCRC?
LCRC, it's Local Record Criminal Center. This is a system is used to save the evidence that is found at the crime scene for easy reference. Or in case if this docket, for instance, if it can go to another team, a particular IO will just go into the system and be able to get.
Let me pause you there. I really just wanted you to define LCRC. For the commissioners, but I'd interrupted you. You were saying that it would be only the investigating officer.
Yes.
That makes entries into the
SAP5.
CB5.
Yes.
So other investigators. well, I don't even know if you'd call it, you can tell me, other work that's done by analysts, other investigative work. Would not necessarily be recorded in the C-clip.
It will not then from the methodologies that we applied, we will have our own task. List,
You have
which were, yes, that are on the site.
Yes. Okay, so
So if I have only the docket,
Yes.
are you saying in the docket, I'll mention about your forensic analysts? It won't tell me what work they have done or they are doing. The same with your ballistic expert. Will that not be in the docket itself?
No, Commissioner. The information will be on the docket, but who will have written that information is the detective, not an analyst or an expert.
But if effectively there's a lag, LAG, not LEG,
Yes, sir.
between your taskings the progress you are making in terms of those taskings and what's contained in the docket. The result of the taskings, of course, will, I assume, eventually get into the docket or find its way into the docket.
In our instance,
Yes.
others are there, others you'll find that they are not there, but there is those records that are kept in our archives. On the tasking list. Thank you, Commissioner.
But what I think the chair is asking you is that there'd be a lag, there'd be a space of time between the activities and the taskings that result in something concrete that goes into the docket.
No, definitely, Commissioner.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. So now that all, again, to me, sounds quite complex, and it sounds like these dockets would have, so it's a combination of what's physically in the dockets, but also what's in the minds of the investigator and in the PKTT, etc.
Yes.
What does that mean for the way in which the dockets are transferred? And if we could now start heading towards that part of your evidence, the handover of dockets. What you've just described, what does it mean for the way in which the dockets must be transferred?
I think in that way, commissioners, if the process is being given enough time, ample time, the receiver will get full information. In this sense, the PKTT IOs will definitely draw all the taskings and compare them with the SAP5 if the SAP5 it's updated. If not, they can make copies of such, attach them on the SAP5. It will also be imperative for the handing, during the handing over, that the other party be present and have ample time to go through the docket and get full explanation on why there is this statement on the A clip, whereas it's not indexed on the C clip. That explanation can be there. But in this instance, with PKTT, one must say that the handing over was messy.
Before we start the handover, I just want to ask you, as a member of the PKTT for 7 years, what was the impact of the decision of 31st December 2024 on the members of the PKTT? Were you informed? Were you aware that it was coming? Were you informed beforehand, or were you informed afterwards? How did you come to learn of it?
31st of December, one is thinking of family, of having good time and so forth. We never had such luxury anyway in PKTT. We were working. When we came across the letter on social media, I think from the 98 members then that were with the team, all of them were accessing or having accessible access to the social media. Neither of them was at the age whereby he'll say, no, I'm not a social media person. Therefore, commissioners, it struck everyone it was like a lightning. And me, as the major commander, I was receiving all these phone calls. And first thing first that came into my mind is we have already submitted the financial documents for January. And there comes this letter. And I first took a phone and phoned the project coordinator, because one of my roles as the major commander was to liaise, be a liaising officer between the team, the project coordinator, which is General Khumalo, and obviously accounting at the same time to the Provincial Commissioner, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. Commander then, it was Lieutenant General Khumalo as the project coordinator. I phoned him and I said, Mphathi, ngibone enye into la. Kwenze njani? And he said, Khumalo, I'm shocked as you are shocked. But address the members and tell them that we are dealing with this matter. We don't know how this letter come about because there was no official communication with us. We perhaps think this is not true. Therefore, I then called the commanders because I felt like, let me first talk to the commanders and they go and talk to the members. If the members still don't understand, that's when I will call the whole team. And the comments that I heard from the commanders were not nice. They were, it damaged them. It left scars because there were cases that were remanded beginning of January. There were cases that were in the trial stage. Other members, they were out working on the 31st when this letter surfaced. And if you are sitting with a person of interest, you're sitting with a witness and he sees this, it tells you straight away that and you're trying to contain yourself as a member, but you are unable because this person keeps on saying these things.
Please translate that.
Please get away because there's no business that bring you to be here because this person is referring to this letter. But then I kept on commissioners keeping the members abreast in terms of what is happening between head office and myself in terms of communication and if we are leaving or we are not leaving because General Khumalo put it clear that stay on put while we're addressing the matter. Members were, morale was down. They couldn't take it. Up until, maybe I should extend it, that I even suggested to General Khumalo that, General, could I coordinate that members perhaps get EHW, which is an employee of wellness, to come and address them. Because this, they didn't take it nicely. And General said, before you go there, I will request the provincial commissioner to come and address the team. And indeed, on the 10th of January, General Mkhwanazi, it's unfortunate I wasn't there, General Mkhwanazi went and addressed the members. And he assured them that you are soldiers on the ground, continue doing policing, investigating, by preventing and combating crime. We at the executive level will attend to the letter.
Okay, thanks.
It was not a nice feeling, I must say, Commissioners. Thank you, General.
The handover, what you're about to turn to, begins on 25 March. Does that mean between 31 December and the impact you've described and 25 March, the work continued, the work of the PKTT continued?
In between these dates, the instruction that I got from General Khumalo was that continue working, but you aren't doing any investigation. You'll only monitor the court-going cases. These are cases that were either at court for bail application, for trial, pre-trial, and so forth. That is what we were supposed to monitor. All the dockets that were under investigation, we were not touching them. There's only one matter which I received a call via General Mkhwanazi that there is suspects that were arrested under the district of Ilembe, and they are talking about their involvement in the killing of a certain politician and all that. I then dispatched a team to go and interview these particular two suspects, who later confessed, and they deposed the confession statement in that regard through an independent officer that is not attached with the PKTT on their involvement, and their firearms that were recovered were sent to ballistic, and they subsequently linked with other 3 cases of which they confessed on those dockets, on those cases. So that was the only case that during that time we went and pick up, and within 2-3 days, I think, let me say in a space of a week, we were able to place all these matters at court, because at first they appeared with possession of unlicensed firearm. And as they continue and confessing on the other crimes that they committed, and then within a space of a week, we were able to place all these matters at court. Therefore, that was the last case under investigation that we dealt with. Other than that, whatever that we were investigating, it was the continuous investigation from the directives of the prosecutor on the matters that are already at court. Perhaps to say, go and obtain a additional statement from witness blah blah. Go and obtain the video footage because this one that is here is not clear enough, and so forth.
So those were the court-going cases.
Those
you
were
were
the
following up on instructions on those only. What did you think was going? I mean, what were your expectations? What were you informed? What was going to happen with the dockets, with the remainder of the dockets?
At an early stage, the only thing that I knew it was don't do any investigation, and we are waiting for directives. But then as time goes on, maybe I will dwell then on the phone call I received from General Khumalo, which was on the...
So between 31 December and the handover, which starts now on the 25th of March, all that the team was looking at were the court-going cases and not the dockets under investigation. So come 25 March, what happens then?
I received a call, and General Khumalo, by then I was around Pretoria, commissioners, informed me that, Colonel, coordinate that the under investigation of all categories cases must be brought to my office before business day of end of business day of the 26th March. I then communicated and coordinated this with my 3 TAC job commanders back in KZN.
Sorry to interrupt you, Colonel. The instruction was to bring all of the dockets to head office the very next day. That sounds like a very unreasonable request.
It was, hence earlier on, commissioners, I say it was messy. Because I think if we were given ample time there will have been a smooth handing over, because handing over it's a very crucial and important process. If it's not properly coordinated, we will start pointing fingers to each other, of which it's not necessary.
So you have 24 hours.
I've got 24 hours.
All right. And so how did you comply with the instruction?
I did so. I'm a very disciplined member of the South African Police Service, and I take instruction so long as the instruction is lawful. If it's an unlawful instruction, I get it from any senior officer, I will never carry out that instruction. Therefore, the instruction I received from General Khumalo was lawful instruction. And I then made phone calls to my 3 TACJOC commanders, including my tactical commander detection based at Majok, that ensure that these dockets are collected. After you collect them, that is all under investigation dockets for politically related, parallel cases, ad hoc, as well as traditional leaders cases. Which traditional cases were dockets that we received a year ago, because were allocated to us in 2024 April, and there were 45 in total, because we managed to take 5 to court in that time. Through my communication with them, commissioners, the TACJOC commanders, I also told them that as you collect these dockets, because each and every, the PKTT, they divided the region of KZN into segments for each team to focus area of policing, that you focus on the northern and central part of KwaZulu-Natal. Then the other team was focusing on the midland and southern part of KwaZulu-Natal. Therefore, you had the 3rd team that was moving around the whole province. And those were the TACJOC commanders that I was talking to that collect these dockets. They were in the safe, but I must mention that others were with prosecutors, because this came as a surprise. The prosecutors had dockets that they were in court. Others, they wanted to write instruction or so forth, or just maybe the matter was coming up for trial. The prosecutor wanted to familiarize himself with certain aspects. Within 24 hours, members had to try and scan all the dockets. On top of that, I told them that prepare a report so that when this docket goes to head office and that there is questions pertaining certain things, we are able to go to our archives, draw those reports, and able to answer on any queries that will come forth.
Okay.
Indeed, on the 26th, I think it was around 1400 hours, combat members arrived and they handed these particular dockets to me. I was at the office of Divisional Commissioner Crime Intelligence, Lieutenant General Khumalo, and I took the 118 dockets. 118 were only from KwaZulu-Natal. I handed to the office of General Khumalo.
So if I could just ask you to look at paragraph 14, perhaps you could just read that on page 5. Just from the last, you say that it was an urgent instruction. And at the bottom of page 5, you say this resulted in the process being chaotic. Perhaps you can just read from there to the rest of the paragraph.
I don't know if I should read it on record or you want
Yes,
me to.
please.
This resulted in the process being chaotic, ordinary. Prior to a transfer, each docket goes through a thorough inspection by the respective branch commanders, confirming that all statements are present and intact. During this process, one is required to ensure that the work is properly recorded in the C-clip. In this case, given the rush, the team scanned the dockets and quickly prepared them for transfer. In some instances, we saw new statement, but we could not update the C-clip because of the pressure to move the docket. In some instances, the statements were with the investigating officers, as the analysts were scrutinizing them for the purpose of the record. I'm saying this, commissioners, because I was informed during the handing of these dockets sometime in August this year that there were some statements that were missing, but then I will deal with that when we get to the topic that is speaking specifically to that. Sometimes you will find that when the IO comes back with the statement, I've learned the detectives through my 7 years working with PKTT. If you allow them, they sometimes become a little bit messy as well, more especially when it comes to docket. Therefore, monitoring of a docket and ensuring that everything is intact, it's important. Myself and you can talk about the evidence and so forth, but if the evidence is not inside the docket and the matter goes to court, that matter will never be will never see a successful prosecution on it. Therefore, sometimes you'll find that the IOs comes and the statement is not attached because he still wants to go through the statement as well and so forth. It's understandable, but he will forget to replace it or put it back.
What statement would this be? Would this be a statement that has just been taken, or are you talking about a statement that would already have been in the docket but would have been removed from the docket? What statement are we talking about?
Either way, or one, on the statement that is already taken and was in the docket. Sometimes you find that analyst says, I'm going through the call data and there's something that I'm not satisfied with. Could you please bring me the statement of witness B? I want to compare or analyze it with the call data and see whatever that he says is indeed depleted on the call data, be it because of whoever that he was communicating with, be it the location because you're looking at the towers, where was he transmitting on that particular day or time. That is one. The second one, it can be that after the IO has obtained the statement, he comes back, he wants, on the same day, he wants to just read and understand if indeed this person is telling the truth or not. And subsequently, he forgets to go and file the statement. Therefore, it can be one or another. Thank you, Commissioner.
You were part of the combat team. And that being so, this may not, or in fact is not, your area of expertise. General Mutsipe, who testified Right before you
Yes, Commissioner.
told us that the proper way to do this is to make a copy of the statement and go and use it for whatever. Purpose you want it for, rather than removing an entire statement. Or taking out of the docket an entire statement. I don't even know whether I should ask you to comment on that.
Commissioner, thank you for the question. I wouldn't dispute her version, but I can safely say that no statement was removed in the docket purposely and not returned. The statements that are alleged to be missing from the testimony of General Motsepe, all those statements are accounted for. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel. So you put the dockets, and then you say you did this pre-handover audit where you had a table in which you recorded the status of the docket, and you describe that in paragraph 16. And you've explained why you did so. You said you did so that you could have for yourself your own record, and you could answer questions later on if questions were put to you about the dockets.
Yes.
And is that what you're talking about? That's at NPK1, is that correct? If you can turn to NPK1.
That is correct, Commissioners. As I was in Pretoria, during that telephone conversation with my TACJOC commanders, I told them that let's prepare this. And this was in corroboration with me because I need not to be there as I was here for other taskings. And I told them that we need to compile this as it's going to assist us going forward.
So in this table that you prepared, and it's for each of the 121 dockets, the last column, well, maybe for the record, I should just say the columns are the docket number, the station and CAS number, a summary of the background of the case, evidence collected, suspects identified, and then the last column is remarks or outstanding, remarks/outstanding. What is that last column reflecting?
This is a summary of what needs to be done to continue or making sure that the docket can be taken for further guidance to the prosecutors. And subsequently getting the authority to go and effect arrest. So that is some of the outstanding investigation that needed to be executed.
And this is what you noted in March 2025.
Indeed, Commissioners.
Thank you. So you hand over the dockets. Before we just get to the 26th of March and the transporting of the dockets, once these dockets are now removed from the investigating officers, did they have any further role to play in the docket or any further investigation on any of the dockets?
No, Commissioners, the detection, they will not have any further role to play because the dockets are not physically with them. The only thing that they can do is just telephonically, because when you investigate a docket, you sometimes build that relation professionally, so with the victims' families and certain witnesses which prefer or feel protected, if not safe, when they deal with a particular member only. Therefore, that's what they will do. And I must say, in some other instances, that it was not a happy ending, because I think there's a part where we're dealing with victims' family that were not satisfied by moving of these dockets.
Okay, so in paragraph 17, you explained that the dockets were then transported on the 26th of March. What you say is were securely transported to the head office. Who transported them and who handed them over to General Sentimule?
The dockets were transported from KwaZulu-Natal by 2 combat members. Commissioners, for their safety, can I not mention their names? And they were then handed to me. Then on the same day, because I had to rush to the airport to catch a flight to KZN, I handed them to the office of General Khumalo on the same of the day of the 26th. That was the last time I touched the dockets, 26 March.
So you delivered them to the office of General Khumalo on the 26th, and what happened after that you were not involved in, the further handover to General Sentimule?
Correctly so, Commissioners.
Okay. And you had no further contact with the dockets or investigation or work or nothing? You had nothing more to do with the dockets from that day?
Indeed, Commissioners, I must also just emphasize, from KwaZulu-Natal, I handed 118 dockets. There were 3 dockets, 2 Umtata dockets and 1 Alice docket that were from Eastern Cape, were not handed by that time. And I communicated with the team that was in Eastern Cape and informed them that they should ensure that those dockets are brought to head office. And indeed, though they arrived late, 23 April, the dockets were brought to head office and they were subsequently sent to or transferred to the office of Divisional Commissioner, Forensic and Detective General Sintumule as well. So that then made the total number to be 121.
Okay, then there's a hiatus of 5 months from the end of March to the end of August. Can you tell us what happens on the 27th and 28th of August?
I think there is, if one has because in essence of what we are doing, we are all police officers and we fight crime. Commissioners, nothing happened between that period on these under investigation dockets. Nothing at all.
You got the dockets back
Yes.
in August.
Yes.
Let's just start there before we talk about what happened in the 5 months. So were you then tasked to go to head office to collect the dockets? Is that what happened?
Commissioners, thank you. I received a call again from General Khumalo on the 25th of August, informing me that there will be a 2-day handing over of the same docket that was brought down to head office. And a venue and time has been arranged for that process to take place. I then phoned PKTT members and requested 2 of the branch commanders and 1 other member to come and join me for that process to take place. I think one had about 2 days at least, and could make means and ensure that the process this time around is more professional. And we are able to account for everything that we are doing. Then on the 27th, we gathered at a venue that was identified, and myself, my 3 members from PKTT and 3 members from head office, consisting of the colonels. We sat down and we started the process of handing back the dockets to PKTT. We started by counting the dockets physically before we can go to statement by statement if they are still intact. Mind you, commissioners, that the dockets could come. And we were comparing that with what we are getting. Because before we started that process, I informed one of the colonels that, colonels, this is the process that we are going to do. And the colonel said, no, but then, Khumalo, this is not what we did on the 28th of March, when the dockets were handed to the office of General Sintumule. I said, I was not there. Okay, 2 days, they anticipated for that. Or else, we could have just came there and say, these are the dockets, 121, we leave. But because we went into depth of those particular inspection, that is why we could then pick up that instead of 121, there was actually 123 dockets. How then we get to 123 is because the other 2 dockets were very slim and they were in between the docket, one docket itself. They were in between them. So that is why we couldn't, because of the rush. I guess even head office, because they were like, no, it can't be. We got 121 dockets, but then we are getting 123. And they accepted that.
So, hold on, let me pause you there. You're saying now in August when you are inspecting the dockets being returned to you, there are 123.
Yes.
Those 2 additional dockets were slipped into others because they were these slim folders. But were they originally there in March when they were given to the head office?
Surely they were there. It's unfortunate that we never picked them up because they, according to our categories, those dockets were filed as closed. They were not supposed to come down because they were not under investigation.
They were closed files already.
Yes. So
the head office hadn't picked that up either.
Head office didn't pick that up because they were also amazed that no, there is 2 extra dockets during that process. But then one might say that it was one of those oversight issues. Then we sat down, commissioners, and we started with the process of handing over. And through the handing overs, one must mention that there is comments that were noted and fairly so by the head office team in respect of the investigation that was conducted by the PKTT. The comments are on SAP 5, and maybe if I can draw the commissioners on page 10 of my statement. Under paragraph 22.2, where I mention, can I read that in record? Most of the docket were audited. 92 were audited and audit notes recorded in the seat clip of the docket. 31 dockets were not audited and notes were not found in those dockets. This is one of some of the assessments that we picked up. I would like also to read on record the next paragraph, which is 22.3. No work was conducted on any of the docket except one. Docket Mtata 286/4/2022 matter received attention. Maybe the commissioners might ask, what is Khumalo referring to? I'm saying this because according to the investigation diary, which is an SAP 5, this case in May 2025, Lieutenant Colonel Kenene contacted Lieutenant Colonel Siachula. I don't know if I'm pronouncing correctly, commissioners. Siachula, Lieutenant Colonel Potwana, Lieutenant Colonel Orendan, of whom these are all previous IOs that handled this case before it was reassigned to PKTT. He also introduced himself to the family of the deceased, and I must put it on record that no investigation was conducted. Because if investigation was conducted, we will have seen the statement or the seat clip having that statement obtained from witness A or person of interest and so forth, or correspondence on the B clip that call data has been applied for an application of the call data and so forth. Therefore, this docket was not investigated at all.
Can I pause you there?
Yes.
When you're saying that of the 123 dockets, only 92 were inspected, audited and inspected.
Yes.
Because there seems to be a difference between an audit and inspection. So only 92 had inspection notes.
Correctly so,
Okay.
commissioners.
All right. And then I just want to take you to NPK2, because that's a table that you also put together with your team, as I understand it.
I'm on NPK2.
So NPK2 is a table, and it lists all of the dockets, and the last column says comments. Now, the comments that are transcribed in this column for each docket are those the comments that were made by the inspection officers at the head office?
Indeed, Commissioners.
Okay. And so, just to be clear for the Commission, if we were to just take an example, maybe we can just go to the first docket in the bundle of dockets. What do we see on page 1?
This is a cover docket which entails the case number, the investigating officer, and all the offenses or instrument used to commit a crime.
Okay, and then if we turn to page 2, this is not the second page of the docket technically, as I understand it. This comes from the C-clip.
Correct.
Is that right?
That's right, Commissioner.
And we know that because it says C-26 in the box at the top of the page. Does that mean C-clip page 26?
Correct, Commissioner.
Okay. And so, and if we turn over the page, again, it says it's on page 3 of the bundle, but it's C-clip page 27.
Yes, Commissioner.
So these are the last 2 pages of the C-clip, is that right?
That's correct, Commissioner.
Okay. And if we look at the last page, that's on page 3. Where do we see the inspection notes of head office?
There's no inspection on from the head office team on this particular docket, Commissioners. The last inspection was done in 2023-02-17. It's unfortunate the name of the member, it's a little bit, I can't see, but then I can tell that is Detective Warrant Officer
Okay.
that conducted this.
So this is an example of a docket that had not been inspected by the head office.
Yes, Commissioners.
So maybe can we just try the next?
Maybe before you do that, can I just check something? Colonel, this docket, I think the evidence, maybe let me ask you to confirm. Is this one of the dockets that you received in 2023, the PKTT? Because I think the evidence of General Motsepe is you got the Eastern Cape dockets in 2023.
Yes, October 2023.
So this would be one of them.
Yes, so Commissioner.
Okay. Now, right at the top of that page 1, in the middle column, so the first column says Alice, and then you've got the case number in the middle column, and it's a 206-12-2012. What are those numbers there, if you are to explain them? 206, 12, and then 2012.
That is the serial number, the first number, 206. It's a serial number of the case per month. Each and every month, case numbers start from 1. And then they will go up until end of the month. And then the second number there is a month when this case was registered. And then the last digits, it's the year when the crime was committed.
So,
Therefore, this particular matter happened on the month of February 2012.
and where does one see when this docket was first opened?
That will be on the MA, it's unfortunate, commissioners, we don't have examples of that, because on that particular document, that's where you get the name of the complainant, contact number, where the incident happened, and the time. But then even on this one, if you can look on the, you see on your left hand side of the cover docket, Commissioner.
Yes.
There is a number starting with 071. Beneath it, there is an ink, a red ink.
Yes.
Underneath that, you will see it will be date and time of offense or incident. And then it says then 2012 month. I think there the person that was writing there made, oh yeah, it's 12, which is the 12th month. I made a mistake when I said second is 12th month. And then the date, it was the 30th, and then that is 30th of December. Commissioner, are you still following?
Yes.
And then time, it happened at, I don't know if my eyes are correct there, 0100.
Yes.
It was 1 o'clock early hours.
Yes. So this is when the incident happened.
That is when the incident took place.
Okay. Now, if you go, and maybe let me tell you why I'm asking the question.
Yes,
you confirm that you would have received this docket, or the PKTT
Yes.
would have received this docket in 2023. Now, we've had evidence that you had done no work, the PKTT had done no work at all with this docket. And that's why I'm asking the question that I'm going to ask. If you look still at that page 1, the very last block which says finding result of trial, you see that?
This is now on my...
This is on the cover.
Okay.
I'm still on the cover. Right at the bottom,
Yes, at the bottom, yes, Commissioner.
you've got that last block says finding, the heading is
Yes.
finding/result. In the middle, it's got court dates. Are you able to make out what that date is there? 1910
10, I don't know if it's 12 or
or
it's
17?
Looks like
17.
2017.
2017.
Yes.
Yes. So I think what I'm wanting to establish with you is you get a docket in 2023, but this docket, in fact, goes back at the earliest 2017 when it was in court. So it's an old docket by the time it comes to you.
A very old docket, Commissioner. And maybe one should also emphasize on this was not one of the main dockets that the team in Eastern Cape were there for. It's a case that the team was informed by one of the complainants within the university that there is a docket whereby there was an attack on the staff, and we don't know what happened with that case. And we said, let's throw the docket and we look at it and see if there's anything that we can work on with it.
Yes.
Therefore, it didn't get much of attention because the Eastern Cape team worked with speed and was able to arrest quite a lot of people. And most of their time, they spend them in court. We caught, it's only 2 IOs. And the magnitude that was put in that particular investigation at the university is huge.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. I just want, just for the sake of clarity, you're saying that this wasn't what you call a main case.
Yes.
This was a docket that you drew into your pool
Yes, Commissioner.
in order to assist with investigation of the main case.
Yes, Commissioner.
So what is the status then of this case as we sit here?
The docket is provincially withdrawn. From the last time we looked at the system, one must also, commissioners, bring you on board that every time there is a movement on the docket, if a suspect is being arrested, the IO and the branch commanders, they must ensure that the system is being updated. This is now the police system. There is certain system that are being applied. I'm not going to put myself on the corner because that is now the detective work to update the system. 2, when the matter goes to court and is remanded for a future date, and the reason for that reminding must also be updated on the system. Therefore, that always, because this is assist in head office monitoring, happens that the case is being moved from this particular IO to another one, we will be able to see as well on the system where was the investigation, what was happening on the investigation. Therefore, this case was provincially withdrawn, and when we look at it as well, we saw that it's not going to assist us at all in our investigation, and not much was then done on it, because we could see that whatever that we went for in East London, we were able to address, which were the killings within the University of Fort Hare. And as a plus, numerous cases, or one case with a lot of suspect or accused, then was registered and people were arrested on the corruption and fraud charges.
That was over and above the charges you were there to investigate.
Indeed, Commissioners.
Okay, so thank you. You've clarified that docket, which is the first one in the bundle for Alice. Can we please turn to the second docket? And this one is on page 4, and it's an Amanzi Mtoti case.
Yes, Commissioners.
Okay, so the first page is the cover page of the docket, we now know. The next page is from the C-clip.
Yes, Commissioner.
So it looks like the last 2 pages of the C-clip have been reproduced in each of these sets.
Indeed.
So page 6, is that the last page then of the C-clip?
It is the last page, Commissioners.
And if we look at, can you actually explain, we've got about 3 entries here it seems. The first one in black at the top, then the second in red, that's in March 25, and then there's another set of notes in a different handwriting below that in red. Can you just explain each of those entries?
Let me first explain that from the 4 categories I spoke about, Commissioners, political, ad hoc, parallel, and traditional. This is one of the dockets or cases that falls under traditional leaders cases. And when we received this docket in April, it was quite a lot of them, 50 of them. And 49, 48 it was murder, 1 kidnapping, 1 attempted murder. Therefore, whilst we were busy investigating the political related cases, we received this mandate. And we couldn't investigate all of them at a time. There's 5 dockets that received attention, and we were able to take those 5 dockets to court. There's one already whereby suspect has been convicted. Therefore, this is part of the dockets that haven't received any investigation. What we did, it was the analysis. Just like when I said from the head office team that they went through the docket of Umtata 286. As I was saying, there was no investigation done because no additional statement was attached on the docket, just like this. The first inspection there on top, it's by one of the PKTT investigator. That is on 2025-03-24. She's addressing that those instructions to the branch commander. And then on the 25, then the branch commander also made an entry. And I don't know if I should read this on record.
Sorry, just before you go to the 24 March, the investigating officer makes an entry saying that she's received instructions on this docket and it will be complied with. Does that come from the analysis, the team meeting, or where does that come from?
This comes from the analysis, which we, as I alluded earlier on, that when we got this docket, we sat down. What we did, commissioners, we first tried and see, can we, with all the analysts, look at what is still outstanding, critical evidence, your ballistic report, your LCRC report. Can we group these dockets and see which firearms, which cases are related or a certain firearm was used on? When I speak about firearms, we've got rifles, we've got .9mm. We've got shotguns and all that. But then with the grouping then, we said on the rifle, we've got ballistics experts that are able to tell that on this particular rifles, there's two groupings.
Colonel, I'm sorry to interrupt you, and it is interesting, and maybe we can return to it. But
yeah.
for now, the purpose, what I'm just trying to understand, what happened here. This investigating officer, after a meeting that you've already described how those meetings work and how the analysis works, received those instructions or taskings.
Yes.
And she says, instructions noted and will be complied with. Right?
Yes.
But she doesn't enter what those particular taskings are. Is that contained somewhere else?
Yes, we do have. Those taskings on our daily tasking report and weekly report.
Okay. Okay, so she makes this entry on 24 March 2025.
Yes, commissioners.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Then we can move on to the next one. The next entry is the next day.
Yes, this is now the branch commanders that is preparing the docket, because if you look at it, it's on the 25th. This is the day when I phoned and told them that prepare the docket, they need to come down to head office. Then the officer that did the inspection is giving that entry that officer in charge going to deal with the matter. The investigation has not yet commenced. Here we've received docket for perusal and for your directives.
Okay. So that entry is made by the PKTT officer.
Indeed,
Okay.
Commissioners.
The next entry then. Can you tell us the date and who made this entry and what it's about?
This is the entry of a lieutenant colonel in head office. Can I, because I think
That's
it's
fine.
visible enough. And the entry was done on the 19th of March, 2025.
Is that March or May?
Oh, sorry, it's May. Sorry, the ink is not visible enough here. It's May. And then he's then giving an instruction. Firstly, say IO, docket for further investigation, obtain the photo album and file docket, obtain the chain statement regarding the handling of the body, obtain the body identification statement, obtain the statement, the chain statement from that person that he's mentioning regarding the 2 bullet heads received from mortuary. And then the 6th instruction there. Is obtain the chain statement regarding the handling of the bullet. And then the 7th, obtain the duty officer statement from that particular captain, and then the last one was then obtain ballistic report. So these are all the entries that are made by an officer in head office.
Each of these dockets, those that were inspected, would have this kind of entry on the last page of the C-clip. Is that right?
That's right. The 92 that were inspected will have such.
And it would be May 2025, between 19 and I think the 30th or something.
Yeah, between 19 and 25, if I'm not mistaken, of May.
Okay. And all of these comments you say you then reproduced into the NPK 2.
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay. Now, if we can then go to your paragraph 23.
Okay, Commissioners.
So in paragraph 23, you don't reproduce, because you've done it already in NPK 2. What you do in 23 is you just sort of categorize and summarize the comments that were made by head office, as I understand. find your paragraph 23. Please let me know if I'm wrong.
That is correct. That's the summary that I gave in terms of the auditing or inspection.
So there are from 23.1 to 23.16 is where you list the comments.
Yes, Commissioners.
So my first question is, did these comments accurately capture the status of the investigation in the dockets, in each of the dockets?
Maybe I should mention that this might not be 100% accurate, Commissioners. Why I'm saying that, the investigation progress it's supposed to be updated on the SAP5. But then due to the methodology that the PKTT applied, we were using this tasking, daily tasking and weekly tasking reports, where we felt it's important for commanders as well, because we were there for that only, to monitor and follow each and every investigation that was happening on the docket. That's one. Two, one of the reasons that they might not be accurate is the fact that the quick movement of transferring this docket, as I said earlier, it was very messy. And the dockets remained behind by mistake. I heard earlier on
you said dockets remain behind by mistake. Did you mean statements?
Statements in a file, yes. And then those statements, they were for certain dockets. I think the witness earlier on mentioned 3 cases. And I did tell the senior counsel that all those dockets on those 3 cases are accounted for and are intact. Actually, one docket, I think it was Mkhwanazi case, that the statement came to Pretoria. It's unfortunate that the indexing was not, SAP5 indexing was not talking to the statement on the A clip. I'll make an example. On the A clip, the statement is for witness as number 7, because you write on the right top corner of the statement. Then on the C clip, you are writing that statement of the witness and Khumalo obtained. And if you want to give a summary, you can do that if you want, and you say A7. But what the investigating officer, the lead investigator that was investigating that particular case did is he indexed the statement as number 9. On the A clip is number 7. That's what confused the members that were doing the inspection from head office. But upon poking more holes from the team, they sent me all those outstanding statements, and I've got them on my device.
Colonel, can I ask you a question? I mean, my little knowledge of audit, whatever it is that you audit whatever you are auditing. You make your findings, whether positive or adverse.
Yes.
You then give the person responsible the opportunity to respond to your adverse findings. And then once you have their response, then you finalize your audit. Is that how you understand it?
That's how I understand it too, Commissioner.
Because, as you say, I could have filed a statement, but in the wrong folder, but it is there.
Yes,
But
Commissioner.
because the index says it is in folder A, the person who's doing the audit, if they don't find the statement in folder A, they will assume that there is no statement.
There's no statement.
Whereas it has been misfiled in a different folder.
That's correct, Commissioner. I think on the first handing over of March, because it was within 24 hours, we never picked that up. The dockets came down, head office did their auditing, and sat down with us as well. We did not pick that up. But the moment I got then their report and mentioning this, I said, let me follow up on this. Upon phoning the team and say, can you go to this docket, look at it properly, ask the investigating officer if did he ever remove any statement. They found the statement actually intact in the docket. It's just that it was a wrong filing.
But now that you've done your own, you've audited the auditor.
Yes.
Have you gone back to head office in Pretoria to say the queries you raised in your draft audit report, actually here are the responses to it. Can you now update your audit report? Because for each of those, I mean, you mentioned 3 cases where they said statements were missing, and you say they are all accounted for. Have you gone back to them to say, actually, your audit is incorrect because there are statements, they are there, here they are all accounted for?
No, Commissioners, to be honest, I haven't done that, of which I take a blame for that, because we are all working for one organization.
Yes.
Supposed to do so.
Because my problem is now, head office is standing by their audit, but you dispute their audit, and yet there has not been this interaction.
Yeah, no, that's true, Commissioners. It's something that I was supposed to have done, and I'm taking fault of that. Maybe while we are on that, talking about the missing of statements, on the Mthatha 286 matter, according to the audit, there is 38 statements that are missing. Remember, Commissioners, that those docket of Eastern Cape, they arrived here on the 23 of, they were handed over to our counterparts on the 23 of April. Seemingly, when the dockets were brought, there is 2 files that make this docket of Mthatha that left behind in one of the safes. And upon seeing that, I then phoned the team and say, colleagues, I know for the fact that statements were obtained. There is where I was making inspections and giving instruction as well, because I might not be the detective, but as a commander, of which even at the police station, you have a police station commander, you have a detective commander. The overall accounting officer is the station commander. If he feels like he wants to inspect any docket, he can tell branch commander, bring this docket, I want to inspect. Therefore, that's some of the things that I will do and say, bring the docket, I must inspect, and I will make entries. That is why on this docket, I've got an entry too. So I was shocked to see that statement are missing. And one of the IOs that is not the PKTT anymore, I've reached out on him and I asked him, where are the statements? He said, no, Colonel, those statements were there. Perhaps if you can tell the members to look properly, they will find them. Indeed, they located them in a safe. So whoever that brought the Mthatha case and Alice did not take the other 2 files that contain those statements. And those statements, as we are talking, they are part and parcel of the file that came to head office and have been handed to the Deputy Provincial Commissioner, Crime Detection, Eastern Cape, Major General Nhlanhla. He can attest to that too. Then on the last one, which is Greytown 2 of 11/2018, Commissioners, this is one of the dockets.
Colonel, can I pause you for a moment, Chair? Yes. It's 4 minutes past 4. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we've got a little way to go, and I just wondered whether it would be possible to have an adjournment, a short adjournment, and keep going until we're done with the witness. Minutes. Takes 3 minutes to walk up.
We've decided 10, is that fine, or 10 or 15?
Thank you, Chair.
Oh, you're saying thank you, I was asking a question. That takes us to what, 20 past?
15, please, Chair.
Oh, all right, 25 past. 20. Let's adjourn until 20 past.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.